Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly SEO. It's been such a long time with me to be here, and I'm so excited today because I have an excellent guest. Irina Serdyukovskaya is with us. Welcome, Irina.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
So, how are you, Irina? How's your week
Yeah,
going by?
everything's going well. Happy that it's Friday.
Yeah,
so,
I know. Thank God
so we
it's
can,
Friday.
yeah. I'm very glad to be here, and I hope that the content I will share today will be interesting and useful for our audience.
I've seen your slides and they were exciting, and I love everything about content, and I'm sure they will love it too. Hi, Roman. Let's wait for a few seconds for our visitors and then we can start. And actually, your case is really interesting because you both publish core web vitals related articles and content strategy articles. It's a unique thing to see. Most of the time, people tend to focus on one subject for the content creation.
Yeah, but because I work with small or medium clients, they usually they need both, and it's hard to differentiate, I would say, in this case. And because of my background in content PR, I have already like background with content, and I would say that I'm learning technical SEO, so I don't need to invest to learn a lot about content because I already had this background. But with technical, I still have a huge amount of things to learn.
Yeah, you're right. And you're like a sparkle of miracle to the people who don't believe that they can learn technical SEO if they want. Maybe the content marketers or the content SEOs who are at the beginning of their careers. Most of the time, they got afraid of learning technical SEO. I don't know, the term technical just makes afraid some people. It's interesting. Okay, we can start if you want.
Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Perfect. So today we will talk not about me, but a short presentation about me. That yes, I focus on content and technical aspects. I work mostly with WordPress and custom CMSs. Previously, I worked as a digital PR specialist, and that's why I love technical SEO, because I can sit with my computer and don't talk with other people. That's my motivation behind learning technical SEO, I would say. And yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, and here is my website. The fun fact about me, as I was doing this presentation, I was having a short vacation during the Easter holidays, and this is one of the hiking pics we made with my boyfriend. So this is the view from the mountain on the sea in Italy. So I think that's what motivates me to work when I'm lazy, that I can go and hike. Today we will talk about content, one of the things that I'm passionate about, and I will try to share with you the process how I create SEO content guidances for articles specifically. And we will go through the steps I generally make to prepare the SEO content guidance for the copywriter, content writer. First, why do we need content guidances? Like maybe we need only provide keywords and that's all. And I think that's what I have thought when I just started doing SEO as a freelancer. But then I understood that we as an SEOs can provide much more value to content writers with our analytical skills, understanding SERPs, rankings, and etc. So it's not enough just providing the keywords, target keywords, and additional keywords to add to the content, but we can do much more for them to work together on the content, and not only to give them a very broad topic to write about. So first of all, what we need to do is decide about the goal or purpose of the content, because it could be that the content guidance can serve different, and content can serve different purposes. For example, we can understand that we actually would like the main purpose is to rank with this content, to get people, traffic, and for sure maybe some conversions out of these, get visibility. It could be that the content can be written not only because we would like to rank, because we can see that, okay, there is already a lot of content written in the internet about that, but we must cover this topic because it's super connected to our brand. So it could be that you understand that maybe we would not rank in short or medium term because it's too competitive and etc. But we should write about this just because we could not write, and to show that our brand covering these main topics. So you need to understand this and also to share with the copywriter your view. The second purpose, for example, could be that you understand that maybe also not only ranking, but you need to create this content to improve internal linking. For example, when you would like to push brand pages, and maybe you will write about brands you are selling on your website, most probably it would not be so searchable, this article, while you can find some keywords to rank with, but your primary goal will be to actually push branded pages. So it's important to understand the goal first. The second thing is to choose the target audience you would like to prepare content for. And this is something that I think I added quite recently, the content guidances, because generally your client already know maybe their target audience, and you think that you don't need to add this, but generally it's better to add target audience, because it could be that the content can be either for B2C for the client or B2B, but the topic can be the same. So you need to show that how actually this topic should be covered, what should be in the content inside. It can be a huge difference between content for customers and content for another business. Another step, the third, I think it's already, we need to choose the target keyword we would like to focus and write the content about. Sometimes when you are doing other steps, it could be that your target keyword can be changed a little bit, because you will find another phrase which can be the main one you would like to focus on. Sometimes some questions are better than just the phrase. But when you just started, you need to understand, okay, for example, in this case, we would like to write an article about electric bike law in UK. So this is your primary keyword. Before starting to research about the topic, you can already have some additional keywords. But after the research, I think you will have more ideas about additional keywords you can add. Making a research about the topic, I think this is the most important step when you're preparing the content guidance. What I'm referring to, you need to go and Google or maybe use SEMrush or Ahrefs to understand what is already ranking for the query you would like to create a content. For example, in the case of electric bike laws, you already see a lot of articles about that. First of all is governmental website. Another one is magazines. And you need to understand, okay, what is the type of content, what types of websites are already ranking, and how good is the content behind this, and can you actually provide some additional value and what you need to include in the article. How I also do this, I go through all of the top 10 links. Sometimes I do this only for the primary market, for example, for UK. Sometimes I also check it for USA, even if I'm preparing the content for UK, just to understand what actually other things is ranking related. For example, maybe electric bikes in USA, to understand maybe something we can add additionally as a topic, not about USA, but something that can be relevant for UK and it's not covered there. So this is where you need to invest some time and go through these articles to understand what you can actually do to make the better article to outrank things which are already there. Another important thing can be that here you can see that you have different search intents behind this. Sometimes it's not only articles, sometimes it's service pages, sometimes it's YouTube videos, sometimes it's infographics. So it's okay. Sometimes you can come up that maybe I don't need to write an article. Maybe I need actually to make a video about that topic. Or maybe one of our service pages is actually better serving the purpose than actually writing the article, and maybe we just need to improve the service page. So here you need actually to understand the reason why other pages are ranking and what you can prepare as for the best to actually be visible for this query. In the case of electric bike rules, even there were already a lot of articles written, we can actually be in the top 5, I think, during the half a year. So it's even possible when you have already a lot of content. But be sure that you understand that you cover all the topics which are already in the SERPs, and you add additional value with your expertise or your client's expertise. Another step is to research questions dedicated to the topic. I think that most of the people have seen these people also ask, and when we're searching for the answer for the question, we use them a lot as the users, but I think I'm using them a lot because I'm SEO. And this is where you can actually understand what people are interested in and what you can add to the content, and also what you can add to be visible in these results. You can use, for sure, you can go to the Google the query and find what in the section, what are the related questions. You can also go to SEMrush or Ahrefs and check related questions to the query. And another option, you can go and use also Ask. This is the tool which will use data from people also ask, and will show you this beautiful graph where you can see a lot of questions related to the query you need. When we already went through all the steps, so we already know the goal, the purpose of the content, we already made a research about the topic, we already know main keywords, additional keywords, and we know the questions which should be added and answered in the article. We need to prepare content structure. And the content structure is, I would say, really, really useful for the copywriters, because I was a little bit afraid when I just started, like maybe it's already there side of things and I don't need to push what should be added in the content, something like that. As an SEO, because sometimes SEOs are more like technical or something like that, but you don't think like this. You need to prepare this. They are super happy when you have already a research, because for them it's much easier actually to write the content when you have already the content guidance and the structure, which they for sure can a little bit change and review based on logical point of view, how they actually will write the content. So there are 2 examples. One of them, we were preparing the article about boat license, and what is interesting and what you can find during your research, that you don't need only to cover, for example, boat license for the UK, but you need also to cover how to register the boat, about boat insurance inside this article. Why? Because you have seen that these articles are ranking in the SERPs. So it could be that you Google boat license and you have in the top 10 also information about boat insurance, about boat registration. So this shows you that you need to actually add this content to your article and to your structure to cover all these aspects, because they're very connected for the Google and actually for the users. And another example is quite hard topic about disaster recovery. But here you can see that you can use questions you found in People Also Ask and actually build the structure of the article based on these questions. So it's also quite easy, and afterwards we will discuss this a little bit more, but you also can think that, okay, this is where we can use our schema, FAQ schema, if we can structure the article as a Q&A. And another example of the structure is also that, for example, when we are doing the content for one of their clients, it's Transcribe app. They're transcribing the content. For example, this webinar we can transcribe and make an article out of this with this tool. You need also to understand what actually should be written in the article. And interesting here, for example, you need maybe also mention some competitors, because if you wouldn't mention competitors in this example, for example, Google, or that you can do this for free in the Word or Google Docs, your article wouldn't rank, even if it's your competitor. Sometimes you even need to add some direct competitor of your tool to be more precise. So you need to balance these things, but it's important if you would like to rank. And add this in the structure, because, for example, the copywriter can think that we don't need to cover and to talk about competitors, but most probably we need to. Another part is about image recommendations. And image recommendations are also quite important, because we can see that some images are ranking for the query. Maybe it's infographic. Maybe if we are covering some product details, we need actually how this product is viewed and some graphs behind these. So we need, as an SEO, also recommend this. Usually if it's small brand, maybe they don't have capacity to create super great infographic or something like that, but we need to explain them that it could be beneficial. Maybe in the second step, we can publish it without images and maybe add them a little bit later. But it's super important to show that there are also potential in the images side of things. Or video. Also, video can be super beneficial for some of how-to articles where you don't need only the text, but you also need to make a video. And this is our job, actually, to suggest them to do this. One of the last steps already is to understand what schema org we can use. And based on that, we can already provide some recommendations about the structure also, as I mentioned. Because if you, for example, see that you can apply FAQ schema, you can use the structure of the article to actually support this. So it will be very easy for you to apply this schema after the article is published, or how to also the same. So think about that in advance. Another step is you need to think and recommend internal links. Find relevant pages you can link from the article and recommend them, so the copywriter can actually incorporate these links organically to the text, whether when we are analyzing the article which is already written and we think, okay, how you can actually add this anchor text, will people click on that or not? So it's better if we provide this in advance. The last thing, I usually also add links to benchmark content from SERPs, so you can show the content writer what is the best content out there already, so they can understand what they can do to outperform this content. There are some cases when there are no benchmark content in the SERPs, especially if you're doing your research not in the English, but in another language. For example, I was providing content guidance for Italian website, and there were no articles which I can say that, oh, they are really good, which is good because when you will create the content, you most probably outrank them fast, but you don't have any examples to show what you think is really good content. Then you can go and search in English, for example, because in English there are so many articles generally for any topic. And you can show this as a benchmark content, as an example what we can do. So it really helps also for the copywriter to understand what you're actually expecting from them. Final things to keep in mind. Maybe you have seen that I don't have metadata as in the content guidance, because I generally do this after the article already is written, because it's much easier to understand what you can put in the title, and especially in the description, what you can highlight when article is ready. You can also and should also recommend URL structure if you don't publish the article yourself on the website, because it could be that somebody, not a content writer, but you can include this also in the guidance so they can use this. That sometimes URL is too long, or they add some additional words which you don't need in the URL. So it's important also to look after this. You should also, when article is published, you need to go and check internal links and add them to your new article. So you can push these into the Google, and check Google Search Console indexing, because I have seen quite often that you need to go and manually add your new blog article to Google Search Console, even if it's already in sitemap, you already added some internal links. And Google is quite lazy, so sometimes we need to help them, both them, to actually index it faster. And another life hack I have seen, we also discussed in our community, Women in Tech SEO, sometimes Google doesn't want to index your article. I don't know why, but there are some bugs, I think. You need just to change the URL. Maybe you just delete one of the world and you add another one, and with the new URL, it will be indexed. So this is like hack I have used when it doesn't want to index this, because other things were the same. So the content and everything, it was ranking afterwards. So it was just a bug. Final thoughts and results. I would say that you see that it takes quite a lot of time to do the research, especially if you don't were familiar with the topic and something which you haven't worked before, for example, like the disaster recovery services for me. But this is the results what you can see in Google Search Console when you are working and making these deep recommendations from SEO, and you can see really good clicks and growth on impressions of the articles you have published. And this is where we have published only 2 articles per month. And generally one of the article is SEO focused, and one of the articles is just news about the company. So it's not that ranking super high and bringing a lot of traffic. So even with 1 article per month, you can actually see quite nice growth, investing some time to investigate how you can actually cover this topic from SEO perspective. And I think that's it. And I already shown the slide which Busra will show. And thank you very much. And I think that I can stop sharing.
Thank you, Irina. Thank you, Irina. It was a really, really insightful presentation. Actually, I have a question for you. One of the most common problems with the content writers or content SEOs, maybe the most asked questions to you, what will be the content length? How do you decide the content length?
Yeah, I know that this is the most common question. But regarding the length, I would say that before I was checking the SERPs and checking how much content already written. Like, for example, I don't know, 2,000 words or maybe 3,000. But now I would say that I'm not doing it anymore, because I see that if you can cover the topic even shorter, but you cover all the things which you see already in the SERPs, which people are asking for and everything, maybe you just writing shorter, your copywriter can make it super short and super useful. You don't need to think about the length of how many words, especially if the topic is quite concrete. If you're, for example, writing very general and very competitive article, for example, about my boyfriend is writing about mountains and about Dolomites. It's super big topic, like mountains in Dolomites, mountain Dolomites. You need to cover everything. So you need something like 10,000 words to compete, just because it's the topic you need to write really a lot, just to be a little bit better than competition.
Yeah, with the John Mueller kind of answer, it depends to the sector, I guess. And Onur Ergür has a question for you. You show a chart to us, and he asks, how many blogs did you publish in how long for this result? So he is asking about the time period and the number of articles to get that result.
Yeah, so generally I would say that at least it does make sense to publish 2 articles per month if you can. This is what we are doing with the clients. And you will see the results in something like in 3 months, you will see the growth of the impressions, but real results half of the year or even 1 year. So sometimes there are some articles which are not performing during 3 or even 6 months. And you're like, oh, well, we have done something wrong. And then it's just pushing in the top. And it can be because you already covered a lot of other topics. So that's why you should not think that all the articles should rank high. No, most probably not. Maybe you will publish 20 articles and only 3 to 5 will bring you all the traffic. But it's not that other articles, I don't know, 18 you have published are a waste of time. No, because they are pushing the whole your website as a content relevant. So that's why you don't need to write only these 3 articles. You need to invest in general to show the Google that you are actually expert in this topic you're writing about.
And we have another question for you. We are content lovers. We gathered content lovers today for you. Some customers love, publishing contents, a lot of contents at the same time. And Nefse is asking, is it a problem to post multiple content at the same time?
I would say that I don't think that it's actually a problem in this, because I don't know, if you're not publishing 10,000 articles one day, it shouldn't be any issue with indexing and etc. But generally, I would say that it's better to promote article per article. For example, today you publish 1 article, you promote it through social media, from email marketing. And if you will publish 10 articles, it will be hard for you to promote these through the other channels. And this is where I can see the downfalls of this, because with promoting, you can show Google, and actually you can have users which will actually read your content and engage with your content. But if you just publish these without any promotion, it's a little bit waste of content in short run. It can be in long run, it will still rank, but in short term, you would lose some of the benefits you can get.
Thank you. It was a really good answer. Perfect answer. So, Irina, I guess we don't have other questions, and it was a really, really lovely talk and really lovely answers to all of our questions. Thank you for being a guest to us this week.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity, because I'm always a little bit nervous before, like, will be it useful or not, will be interesting, will I have questions or not? But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. Thank you so much, and Have a nice weekend, everyone. I hope you love your weekend holiday.
Yeah, have a nice weekend. And if you have any questions, you have my contacts. You can write me.
Yeah, you feel free to ask questions to us, to me, to Irina, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye.